First, Representative Adam Kinzinger is on the phone. Congressman, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
Good morning. There are, you know, you don't always hear about a bipartisan issue, but polls have shown that nearly 90% of Republicans voters support background checks. Where Republicans in the House, some Republicans in the House have passed it. The Senate won't even look at it. Where are you on that topic?
Well, look, yesterday, I spent the weekend really kind of thinking through, obviously, what happened and saying this is something that's not going to stop. Now, I think one of the biggest issues is this is an issue of the heart. Evil is real. Evil exists. People make very terrible choices. But there are some things we can do in the meantime, I think, to keep it out of bad people's hands. And number one is raising the age of purchasing a gun to 21 years old. If you look specifically in school shooting cases, I think that alleviates a legal purchase for a number of those. And then, of course, enhancing background checks. It's not going to be the panacea, and there is no panacea in this. I think that's why we have to look at this in a whole way, in saying both in access, but also both in how do we deal with mental health and, frankly, spiritual issues, and we can begin to make an impact. But I think areas we can agree we certainly should, and it's time to put the accusations aside and fix it.
There's a lot of people, too, that say, keeping guns is fine, but assault rifles, do we need to keep those legal? Is that even a topic that would be brought up in Congress?
I don't think so. First off, I'm not for banning assault rifles, so-called assault rifles, but I also think that's not an area we're going to get to agreement on. What we always do after these things is we find areas we disagree and we find ways to argue. We don't find things we agree on. And I think one of the areas where we can really make a difference is saying, look, you can't buy a handgun until you're 21, but you can buy an AR at 18 years old. Let's fix that, because a grudge out of high school doesn't last 3 years for the most case. It's usually people in high school or just out with school shootings, as well as enhancing background checks and banning, 100-round magazines on these things. These are areas we can work together on, but what we usually do in these cases is find out the areas we disagree, we go to our corners, we attack each other, and zero gets.
So, Congressman, let me get back to my question where 90% of Republican voters support background checks. Why do so many Republican senators and congressmen not support background checks?
Well, look, if you read my Medium article, I support it. And now I voted against the last background check thing that came before the House, and I'll vote for it if it comes back. But there are always things in there that we can find a disagreement with. For instance, in the old background check thing, if a rancher wants to loan his ranch hand his gun to protect his property, he can't do that under that. But I think when it comes down to it, not everything's going to be perfect. Let's ensure that the people that are buying guns from somebody is going through a background check. Let's make sure that that background check system works, because in the situation of the Texas church shooting, that missed what should have been flagged. And these are areas we can actually get some stuff done instead of going to our corners and finding all the areas we disagree.
All right, Representative Adam Kinzinger, thank you for joining us this morning.
Anytime. Take care.